You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour. The Factor Uncensored developing now. FBI Houston says there have been more hoax school threats this month than in the past 3 years. This has been happening since the start of the school year. Their office alone has received more than 30 hoax school threats in the area. That's the Houston region. Agents say making a threat can lead to jail time and even federal charges. Joining us to talk about this, educator DJ Henney, Texas State Representative and attorney Jolanda Jones, political analyst, and former educator Angela Box. First of all, we've had a lot of violence in Houston area schools as well, right, Angela?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of factors that go into this, and first and foremost, the fact that we do not have any discipline standards anymore, no behavior standards whatsoever. Children really aren't being held accountable for abhorrent behavior, so that's number one. Number two, there's a sense of nihilism in this generation where they feel very hopeless, they feel very rudderless. They're being taught things, you know, very much doomsday stuff going on with the curriculum right now. And I also think that the biggest mistake that we made as a society many, many decades ago was, number one, giving over the Department of Education to the federal government, which federalized it, and number two, taking God out of schools. Taking God out of schools, the simple fact of making a reflective prayer, treat others as you want to be treated. We have kids that are bullied. We have kids that are crying out for attention, that are on their phones all the time, a lack of interaction in the real world. So this is a big issue.
Yeah, layers to it. DJ Henney, you're there now on the front lines as an educator. What do you see as a problem? Number one, the violence that we're seeing in schools here in the Houston region, as well as the calls that are going into the FBI saying there's going to be a bomb here, there's going to be a shooting here.
Well, you know, I deal with behavior, and I'm just going to say something straight up. Like, these kids are different. They're very different. And
you found yourself attacked.
Oh yeah, very much. You know, I'm a behavioral specialist, so I deal with the kids that have these emotional needs. So we are very much paying to social emotional awareness. We do lessons throughout the week when it comes to social and emotional, referring to the counselors and so forth, and letting children know about their emotional awareness. As far as I deal with children with ED, emotional disturbance. I deal with children that have disabilities. The children that I have problems at home. So when you see these kids making these threats and you see it on the internet, it's because they're not stable in the mind. So we got to attack the mind. We got to continue to have programs, and these programs are facilitating, you know, and distributing it for the needs that we have for these children, because I'm telling you right now, these kids, they are totally different right now. And we have seen, and I'm going to tell you right now, this year, what I do 7th and 8th grade.
And really quick, because we need to get the state rep before.
So with the 7th grade that's coming in right now, I can tell you right now, it's a very different flock. And they are very squirrely. They don't have the mindset. They don't think about consequences and so forth. So we have to instill.
We got a lot of work to do with that.
Yeah, we do.
State Representative Jolanda Jones, who also served as a
HISD school board trustee.
Come on, boo-boo. Let me say it. But go ahead. Your thoughts on the problems that we're seeing in education now.
So I think there are a lot of problems, right? So first of all, you can't have prayer because there are people that aren't Christian. I mean, there are people who have very different religions, so we don't get to pick one over the other, right? Which is why there's separation of church and state. But that doesn't have anything to do with why I think there's violence. I think we have a lack of discipline with children. There are rules. School boards make handbooks, and they tell you what they are. And so there are kids that are getting locked up who tend to look a certain way. But let me be clear. What people need to tell these kids is it is a crime, even if it is a hoax. You are going to jail. you are going to, if you don't get suspended, you're going to get expelled. You could end up in the juvenile detention center, and it's hard to get a criminal history in school because it follows you. And so we need parents teaching their kids that you can't do that. And we also have kids who want to imitate what they've seen on TV. Some kids are really popular and famous for school shootings or whatever. So I think the kids haven't figured out that this is serious, that it's going to have negative consequences, it's going to literally affect you for the rest of your life, and you could end up getting locked up. So parents need to tell their kids that, grandparents, whoever is watching the kids.
And Angela, that's one of the things that the FBI is saying. Parents, get involved. Tell your kids that you could get into trouble. You could face federal charges for this.
Right, and I think it's interesting that the FBI is encouraging parents to be involved when a lot of what we've seen in the last, certainly, few decades is this idea that the school, the state can parent your child as opposed to parents. A lot of parental rights are being taken away from parents in certain states. And I think, it really does it is all connected. It's all connected with, politics is downstream from culture. And like I said, these kids are incredibly isolated. They're on their phones all the time. And they're crying out for attention. And it's not just, it's a multi-layered thing.
And when you hear parents in the last 20 seconds we have, parents should get involved. Your thoughts on that?
But what do you do when children are raising children?
Right.
When I'm doing duty, and I have the parent pulling up, playing DJ Screw, the speakers banging. I'm thinking I'm at the club, and I'm smelling weed coming out of the cars.
And the parents are cussing in front of the kids.
Yeah.
The parents are modeling terrible behavior.
Yes, terrible.
They're modeling terrible behavior. So in order to be a kid and be a productive grown-up, you've got to have a productive grown-up raising you. And a lot of times we just don't have that.
And
cultural.
And I hate to end it here. It's kind of like hopelessness. What do we do then?
It's children raising children.
Well, but there are also parenting classes, right? In the courts when they come and there's kids that are missing school and things, there are parenting classes that teach you how to be a better parent and teach you how to make better decisions towards your kids. And so they need to offer that.
And parents, bottom line, parents need to do better.
Yep.
We offer it.
And the prison to playground pipeline is a real thing. And the playground to prison pipeline is a real thing. Excuse me. And I think that does need to change. The culture does need to change drastically.
All right.